welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to get started cutting that material for the gate build, and I'm going to start off by going on the computer and I'm going to make myself a cut list so I know all the pieces of material I need to cut and what angles need to be on them. I just go ahead and put that on a piece of paper, that way that'll make it easier for me when I'm cutting it so that I don't waste any material and stuff. I'll cut my longest ones first and then I'll decide what I'm going to cut to get the most out of my materials. But I always like to start with a cut list, just makes things more simple for me. So I'm going to open up my drawing and I'm going to go through and get some dimensions. I pretty much know all the dimensions, but since I got you guys here, I'll just do that. But I'm pretty sure I need 2 8-footers, 2 6-footers, 440 1/8, and I need 2 144 1/8 cut on a 45, and then I need my tops that are going to be rolled, which I'll just cut some pieces, probably something like 12, or well, they got to be longer than 12 because I got to roll them, so I'm sure 2 foot extra is more than I need, so probably just cut 2 14-footers. And then I'll roll those the same, and then that's what I'll apply to the top. But I'm going to get all my straight pieces and stuff cut first, and then I'll worry about rolling those pieces either later this afternoon, depending on how fast I get this done, or I will roll them after Turkey Day on Friday. And that'll finish up my frames, and then we'll be left to get a final on our CNC design, what we're going to have in the middle. Once I get that nailed down, then we'll be ready to start cutting out those plates. So that's a couple days down the road, but today we're going to work on the lower half of the frames for the gates. So let me make up a cut list real quick and we will get started. So here, if you want to see it, I got, oh yeah, doing a tour of the office. So for my crossbars, so I need 144 1/8. That'll be for this bottom piece of tubing for my gate. And then for these cross pieces that'll go in here and in here, it'll be the same measurement minus 2 inches here and 2 inches here. So that's a total of 4 inches. So that'll be 140 1/8 for 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. And then I need a 6-foot piece on both ends here and 2 8-footers for the 2 ends there. I should make up the frame as far as we need, and I might as well. I'll go ahead and cut the material. Might as well go ahead and cut my material to make my my blank panels, the 2 sets of blank panels I'm going to have. And those dimensions I don't have in here. I have those on a sheet of paper. But I'll go ahead and make a cut list. I'll continue this cut list out to include those 2, so we can go ahead and get all those pieces cut as well. Alright, we'll meet you outside. Alright, so when I was going through my measurements, I wanted to get my cut list for these panels that are going to go here, here, and then we got the same thing on the other side. And I noticed on my paper where I come out and made measurements before, I forgot to double check on my height here, and I just wanted to remeasure this thing and make real sure, dead sure on my measurement before I cut any of this material for these panels. So I'm gonna do that real quick. And also I wanted to show you guys, I don't think y'all have seen it since they put the bricks around everything. I think the last video we did was just putting up the hinge plates on the post over there. So y'all hadn't seen it at this point. Alright, so I guess that measurement was right. I had 5 foot and 6 foot. That's correct. Make it thinner. Alright, you probably have to move this up a little bit. I need to unclamp that material and slide it over here. It's a lot more easy to cut straight accurately than to try to cut accurately on a 45. So what I usually do on stuff like this, since they're being 45 this way and that way, so the total length of your material it stays the same, and you just cut the inside off when you 45 it. So I'll cut all this stuff straight first, and then I'll come back, set my saw up on a 45 and cut it to the edge of my material. Is the way I do that to try to stay more accurate with my cut. So I'll cut all this stuff straight first, then I'll come back and put 45s on. Alright, my first two longest pieces would be 14 foot for my top part of my arc, and so I'm going to skip those, even though that's my longest two pieces of material, because I should have plenty. So I'm going to skip those and hopefully have the material at the end for that. So I need two of them, 144 and 8. Also, one thing too that you can do when you're doing straight cut, you can cut two pieces at a time. So I may go ahead and lay down my other piece, and I'll be cutting two at a time.
Okay, so the only pieces I've got left is the top pieces for my 4 panels that have to be arched, and I got 2 pieces for the gate, for the top of the gate, that have to be arched. And so I'm not going to cut any of that material yet. I'm just going to take it, my roller's at the shop, my angle roll's at the shop, so I'm just going to take this material full length over there and work on my rolls, because anytime when you're rolling material there's a good chance to screw it up, and I don't want to cut this too short and then need it for a 120 arch piece. So I'm just going to leave these full length, take them all to the shop until I make sure I get all my rolls, and then I can cut them down to size after I get the arch I want in them, and they get, you know, because they all got to pretty much match. So or at least 2 sets of them, and everything's got a set, so it's got to match something else, and I can't. So I think with this little bit of daylight I got left, what I'm going to do is start cutting out my 45s and finishing up these cuts, and all those will be ready to assemble then. So this last little bit of daylight, I'm going to finish up cutting these 45s. Be back with you in a minute. Alright, so now I got the saw set up on a 45, so now I'm gonna cut the 45s on the end pieces.